There is someone you keep meeting in sleep whose name you never learn. Tonight, we are going to sit with these strangers your dreams keep sending, and we will find out why they wear faces you almost recognize. Because each one of them is carrying something that belongs to you. And by the end of this, you will be resting in a warm and quiet room where none of them frighten you anymore. So let yourself grow heavy now. Not because I am asking you to perform anything, only because the body knows how to set itself down, the way a stone settles into the floor of a still place and stops being carried by anything. You have been carried all day, carried by your own thoughts, by the weight of being someone, by the effort of holding a shape in front of other people. You can put that down. It will still be here in the morning if you want it. But for the next little while, you do not need it. Let me describe to you the room we are in. It is small, and it is dim, and that is on purpose. There is one low light somewhere behind you, the color of old amber, and it does not reach the corners, and the corners do not mind. There is a chair that holds you the way a hand holds something it does not want to drop. And against the far wall there is a hearth, and in the hearth there is a fire that has already burned down past its loud and hungry hours, so that what remains is low and orange and patient. It does not leap. It breathes. You can hear it, faintly, that soft collapse of a coal settling deeper into its own warmth. That sound is the whole world tonight. Let it be enough. I have sat in rooms like this with a great many people, and almost all of them, sooner or later, told me about a stranger, a figure in a dream, someone they did not know, and yet could not shake. And if this quiet is beginning to do its work on you, if you feel yourself going a little softer, a little lower, you are welcome to stay with me for tomorrow night's journey too. You can subscribe, and the next one will simply be here, waiting in the warm. No need to decide anything now. Just let that be a small kindness offered, and let it go. Because here is the thing about the strangers. You assume, when you wake, that they were no one. Set dressing. The mind, you tell yourself, throws faces together out of leftovers, the way a tired hand throws coats over a chair. And so you let them dissolve. You wash, you dress, you step back into the day, and the stranger sinks back down under the surface where you cannot see them. But they do not leave. They are very patient, more patient than you, and they will come again. I want you to think, gently, without straining for it, of one of them. Not all of them. Just one. There is usually one who comes back. A man you have never met, standing at the edge of a gathering, watching you with an expression you cannot read. A woman in a doorway who seems to know exactly who you are. A child you have never had. An old person, sitting very still, as though they have been waiting in that exact spot since long before you arrived. Let one of them rise. You do not have to look at them directly yet. You can feel them at the edge of the firelight, the way you feel someone in a room before you turn your head. Do you feel how, even now, even here, where nothing can touch you, there is a small tightening when they appear? A faint wish to look away? Hold on to that softly, because that small flinch is the whole secret. We flinch from the strangers in our dreams for the same reason we flinch from certain people in waking life. Not because they are far from us, because they are close, closer than we are willing to say. The ones who unsettle us are almost never strangers at all. Let me tell you how I came to understand this. Not as a clever idea, as something I had to live through, in the dark, the way you are lying in the dark now. There was a long season of my life when I could no longer pretend the figures in my dreams were nobody. They had begun to argue with me, to insist. One of them was an old man, with a white beard, and he carried himself with the calm of someone who had been alive far longer than I had. I will not pretend to you that I always knew what he was. For a long time, I was simply afraid of him, The way you might be afraid of a guest who knows things about you that you have never told a living soul. And the strange part, the part one want you to hold near the fire with me, is that he was the wisest part of myself, walking toward me from the outside, because I had not yet let him in. That is what a stranger in a dream so often is. Not an intruder, a part of you exiled, a piece of who you are that, somewhere far back, you decided you could not afford to keep, and so you set it outside the walls. And now it knocks, in the only language it has left, which is the language of the dream. It cannot say, "It is me, you sent me away." It can only appear, again and again, with that unreadable face, until you are ready to turn and look. Let the fire draw your eyes for a moment. See how the light does not fall evenly. There are bright coals, and beside them, hollows of shadow, and the shadow is not the absence of the fire. The shadow is the fire's own shape, thrown by its own light. You cannot have one without the other. Where there is warmth, there is the dark edge of warmth. And it is exactly the same with you. Everything you have chosen to be casts a shape. And that shape, that long dark figure stretching away from your light, is the one who keeps coming to you wearing the clothes of a stranger. Think of who you decided to be, very early, before you had any say in it. You learned what pleased the people who held you. You learned what made them go cold. And like any small creature who wants to be kept warm, you grew toward the warmth and away from the cold. You became the child who was easy, perhaps, or the one who was good, or strong, or quiet, or bright and quick and never any trouble. And every quality you grew was real. But for every one you grew, there was its opposite, and that opposite did not die. It could not die. It only went elsewhere, out past the firelight, into the dark at the edge of the room. The boy who was praised for being gentle put his anger out there. The girl who was loved for being good put her hunger, her wildness, her wanting, out there. The one who learned to be strong put down his softness and his need, and sent them out into the cold to wait. None of it was lost. That is what I most want you to feel tonight, lying here where you are safe and heavy and held. Nothing you sent away was ever lost. It has been waiting for you the whole time, and it has your face, or it has the face of someone who knows your face by heart. There was a man who came to see me, a respectable man, the kind of man who is admired, who is reasonable, who never raises his voice. And he dreamed, over and over, of a beggar at his door, a ragged figure, filthy, with bold and shameless eyes. And the man was disgusted by this dream. He wanted me to take the beggar away, to explain him into nothing. And I asked him, very gently, the way I am speaking to you now, what if the beggar is not at your door by mistake? What if the beggar has come home? For this man had spent his whole life refusing to need anything, refusing to ask, refusing to be the one who holds out his hand. And so all of that, all his own hunger and his own helplessness, had gone out into the night and put on rags and come back to stand at the door of his sleep. I am not going to tell you what happened to him, not yet, because I want you to stay close to your own beggar for a moment, your own ragged figure. Whatever it is in you that you would be ashamed to be seen wanting, let it stand at the edge of the firelight. You do not have to let it in yet. You only have to stop pretending it is a stranger. Feel how heavy you have become. Notice it without doing anything about it. Your shoulders have given up their small daytime work of holding you upright and ready. Your jaw has loosened. The backs of your legs have grown so heavy they seem to be sinking into whatever holds them, anchored, the way the roots of an old thing are anchored, no longer needing to grip because they have simply become part of the ground. Good. This is the weight that comes when you stop guarding the door. The strangers do not feel so dangerous when you are this heavy. They cannot startle the heavy. They can only sit down beside it. Now I want to walk you somewhere. Stay as heavy as you are. You do not have to carry yourself. The room will do that. But there is a corridor that leads away from this hearth, and the corridor is lit by the same low fire, set in small alcoves along the wall, so that as you move through it, you pass from one pool of warmth to the next, and between them, gentle stretches of shadow that ask nothing of you. You are not walking with your legs. You are drifting, the way one drifts in the moment just before sleep, when the body has been left behind on the bed and something lighter slips out and goes wandering. And along this corridor, in the alcoves, between the small fires, the strangers are waiting. But they are not crowded. They are not menacing. Each one stands in their own pool of warm light, very still, as though they have agreed to be patient with you. You can pass them slowly. You can look or not look. Nothing here will reach out and grab you. This is a place I have brought many people, in their own way, in their own dark rooms. A place where the exiled parts can finally be met without the panic of waking life. Here, in the first alcove, is the one you are angry at. Not in the dream, in your life. The person whose name makes something clench in your chest. I want you to notice something about them, gently, with no urgency at all. The thing you cannot stand in them. The exact thing. Their arrogance, perhaps. Their selfishness. The way they take up so much room. The way they never doubt themselves. The way they put themselves first without a flicker of shame. Feel how hot that is in you even now. And then feel, underneath the heat, something quieter. Because the things that enrage us most in other people are so often the very things we have forbidden in ourselves. The selfishness you cannot bear in them is the selfishness you have never once allowed yourself. The boldness that disgusts you is the boldness you put out into the cold a long time ago. We do not hate strangers. We hate our own exiles when we meet them walking around in someone else's body. That is why some people can wound you in a single sentence, and others cannot touch you at all. The ones who can wound you are standing on the trapdoor. They are standing exactly over the place where you buried something of your own. And the day they say the wrong thing, the floor opens, and up comes the figure you sent away, and it is so much worse than the insult, because the insult was outside you and the figure is in. Lie here and let that be true without needing to fix it. You are too heavy tonight to fix anything. You can only understand, and let the understanding warm you like the fire. Move on, slowly. The next alcove. Here is a different stranger, and this one is harder, because this one you are drawn to. Not angry at. Drawn to. There is a kind of person who appears in your dreams, and sometimes in your life, and pulls at you with a strange gravity. A person who seems to carry the very thing your soul is starving for. For one person it is a wildness they have never let themselves have. For another it is a tenderness, a softness they were taught to despise in themselves. For another it is a steadiness, a quiet-rooted calm they have never been able to find. And we call this longing many names, and most of them lead us astray. We think the longing is for that other person. But so often, the longing is homesickness. The pull you feel toward them is the pull of your own exiled half, the missing weight of yourself, recognized at a distance and mistaken for someone else. I sat once with a woman who dreamed, again and again, of a man she had never met. A dark and quiet man who would lead her down into rooms below the house, rooms she had not known were there. And in waking life she was so light, so bright, so quick to laugh, so eager to please, that there was almost nothing of the deep in her, nothing of the dark and the still and the slow. And this man in her dreams was everything she had never been allowed to be. He was her own depth, walking toward her, holding out his hand to lead her down into herself. She was terrified of him, and she was in love with him. And both of those were the same feeling, which is what it feels like when you are about to meet the part of yourself you have been missing your whole life. You may have your own version, a figure who comes in the night and seems to know you, who seems to come from underneath everything, from the same deep place those rooms came from, a place that was here long before you, that has been sending the same strangers to sleepers for as long as there have been sleepers. The dark guide, the bright companion, the wise old one with the patient eyes. They visit so many people in so many rooms, across so many centuries, wearing such similar faces that you begin to wonder whether they were ever only yours, or whether they rise from something far older than any one life, a deep common ground we all sleep upon without knowing it. You do not need to understand that tonight. You only need to feel that you are not strange for being visited. You are in very old company. Let yourself drift further along the corridor. The fires are smaller now, and lower, and even more gentle, and you are heavier with every step that is not a step. You are sinking as you go, the way you sink at the end of a long day into the deepest part of the chair, the part you do not climb out of easily. Let your breath go slow. Let it go without you. You do not have to run it. It will run itself, the way the fire burns itself down without anyone tending it, settling, each breath a little lower than the last. Now, there is one more figure I want you to meet, and this is the oldest one, and the one people are most afraid of, and the one who is, in truth, the gentlest of all once you stop running. At the end of the corridor, the alcoves give way, and the walls open out, and you come into a wide, low cave, and it is full of warm coals. Not a wildfire, a whole floor of embers, breathing orange in the dark, giving off a heat that goes all the way into the bone. It is the warmest place you have ever been, and it is so quiet here that you can hear your own heartbeat slow. And here, sitting among the coals, perfectly at ease in the heat, is the figure who has followed you the longest, the one who has worn every stranger's face, the one who stood at the back of the gathering, the one in the doorway, the beggar, the dark guide, the bright companion. All of them were this one, trying out faces, trying to find the one you would finally not turn away from. And now there are no more faces to try. There is just the figure, sitting in the warmth, waiting for you with no impatience at all, because it has all the time in the world. It has had your whole life. It can wait a little longer. I am going to tell you what I learned to do with such a figure, not as an instruction, not as a lesson, only the way one person tells another what helped them once, in a dark room, by a low fire. I learned that you do not have to fight them, and you do not have to flee. You can simply turn and face them and ask. You can say, into the dark, with no need for an answer right away. Who are you? What do you want? What did I send you out into the cold to carry? And then the hardest part, the part that changes everything. You wait. You let them answer. You do not answer for them. You do not decide ahead of time what they will say. You just let the figure, who is you, who is the lost half of you, speak in their own voice, from the warmth, where you exiled them, until they are no longer a stranger, but simply a part of you. Come home. This is not a thing you do once and finish. It is the slow work of a life, the long gathering in of everyone you send away. And it does not make you smaller or weaker, the way you feared it would when you first cast them out. It makes you wider. It makes you heavier, in the good way, the way a thing is heavy when it is whole, when nothing has been hollowed out of it, when every part is present and accounted for and resting in its place. The people who frighten us are the ones who are missing pieces of themselves and do not know it. The people who steady us are the ones who have gathered themselves home. You can become the second kind, not by becoming more, by becoming complete. That respectable man and his beggar, I will tell you now. He did not banish the beggar. He could not, and I am glad he could not. Slowly, over many seasons, he let the beggar in. He let himself need things. He let himself ask. He let himself, for the first time in his whole proud life, be the one who holds out an open hand. And the dream changed. The beggar stopped coming to the door, because the beggar was no longer outside. The beggar had a chair by the fire now, and a name, and a place at the table, and a man who was no longer ashamed of him. That is what becomes of the strangers when you finally stop pretending you do not know them. They do not destroy you. They sit down by the hearth, and they grow quiet, and they rest. I want you to feel, now, how the cave of coals is not asking anything of you. The figure in the warmth is not asking anything of you. There is nothing to do here. There is nothing to solve. The understanding has already happened, somewhere below where you can watch it. The way the fire has already burned down into these soft and glowing coals without you deciding it should. You are so heavy now. You are anchored to the warm floor of this place the way the oldest, deepest part of the earth is anchored, beneath all the weather, beneath all the noise, in a stillness that has never once been disturbed. Nothing up at the surface can reach you here. The day cannot reach you here. The strangers cannot frighten you here. They are warming themselves at the same fire. If it ever helps you, in your waking life, in the gray few minutes after a dream, you might keep a small book beside where you sleep. Not to study yourself, not to grade yourself, only to catch the stranger before they sink again. A few words. The man at the back of the room, the woman in the doorway, the child, the beggar. You do not have to know what they mean. You only have to let them know you saw them. That alone, that small act of not turning away, of writing down their face by the light of the morning the way we are sitting here by the light of this fire, that alone begins to call them home. But that is for the mornings. Tonight there is nothing to write. Tonight there is only the warmth, and the weight, and the slow orange breathing of the coals. Let me gather you, now, toward the place where you will sleep, because there is one more room, beyond the cave, and it is the one I have been bringing you toward this whole time. You leave the coals, but you take their heat with you, soaked all the way into you, so that you are warm from the inside now, and will stay warm. And you come into a small chamber, deep in the warm dark, with a low bed in it. And the bed has been waiting for you, and the heat from the cave reaches it and holds it at exactly the temperature of being completely, perfectly safe. This is the resting place. This is where the journey ends. I have a name for it, and I will give it to you, and you can keep it for every night that comes after this one. It is the hearth room, the room at the center where the fire never goes out and nothing that loves you is locked outside, and every stranger has finally been let in. You lie down on the low bed, and you are heavier than you have been in a very long time. Heavy in the way of someone who is no longer holding any part of themselves at arm's length, no longer guarding any door, no longer keeping anyone out in the cold. They are all here now. The angry one, sitting quietly by the coals. The longed-for one, no longer out of reach, simply part of you, resting. The wise old one with the patient eyes, keeping watch so that you do not have to. The beggar, fed and warm and home. The whole household of you, gathered under one low roof, around one low fire, breathing in the same slow rhythm you are breathing now. There is nothing left to meet, nothing left to face. No stranger at the edge of the firelight, because there is no edge anymore. Only the warm and the safe spreading out around you in every direction as far as the dark goes. You are anchored. You are settled. You are grounded all the way down into the still warm floor of yourself, and you are whole, and you are held, and you can let go now, completely, the way the last coal lets go and settles into the ash, glowing, asked for nothing, given everything. Let your breath go slower still. Let the room grow dim at its edges, the way it was always meant to. Let my voice grow soft and far, just one more warm sound in a warm place, like the settling of the fire, like the heartbeat of the house. You do not have to follow it anymore. You do not have to follow anything. You are home, in the hearth room, with all of yourself gathered safe around you. And you can sleep now, heavy and whole and warm all the way through. Sleep now. Before you drift all the way down, let me leave one small thing by the door, softly, so it does not wake you. If this room, this fire, this gathering in was a comfort to you tonight, you can let the video know with a gentle like, so that it finds its way to others lying awake in the dark. And if you would like to, comment with one of your own dreams, one stranger, one face, one figure that has come to you in the night. I read them in the quiet. And if you want another journey like this one tomorrow, simply subscribe, and the next night will already be here, warm and waiting. But none of that is for now. For now, there is only the hearth room, and the heat in your bones, and the long, easy slope down into sleep. Rest now. You are whole. Good night.